Dude, she's been on my show multiple times.
I don't know her.
But now you will.
I don't bring people up I don't know.
Let's make new friends.
Hey, Heather.
She showed her Ninja Turtles. I'm showing my plush Godzilla.
Oh,
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Godzilla fan.
She got
The only thing
Gojira.
is, this eye is correct, but this eye looks like it's kind of up, like it's odd. But other than that, it's pretty good.
See, if anyone ever talks shit about him, just be like, he started eating kale and came to terms with his lazy eye.
Yeah, I just keep it the way it is. My mom got it for me.
I used to have a Godzilla plush, but I think I had to throw it out because like the cats like peed on it or something.
Ugh, cats are
Yeah, I have a
worse. They
glass
also pee in...
Nice.
Oh, wow.
It's a pointy claws.
And I've got a banned film.
Alright.
I've got a jade
It's
elephant.
somewhere. I'm not going to get it.
How much would it
I've
cost?
got a lot of things.
I mean, y'all have seen my CD collection.
I've got an alien.
Wait.
Oh my
Oh, they got
god.
the same thing! Wait, is it the same thing? It is the same thing.
Yeah, it is. Because Kristen and I are awesome.
And I have the director's cut of the movie JFK.
And here's Snape.
She got Snape.
You know what? I'm thinking of these finger puppets.
But Snape.
Oh,
Snape. Severus.
oh! I didn't even. I was shocked I never heard of that back then when YouTube was in its glory days.
I mean,
I'm old
this
as
is
fuck. I've
kind
heard
of rare.
everything.
Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory unreleased demos.
I don't have that one.
Oh,
I found it at a Goodwill for $2.
who would give that up?
Damn. I've
thing
made some of
is,
my things when I was desperate. For
Printed, Sharpied, more Sharpie, and
I always
burned-
like the flyers that come in the CD cases. I always did.
Oh, I dropped
printed, burned on
No.
a Staples disc.
Oh, okay.
So this is rare in its own right
some
because
of these
I
need to
don't
be
think
cleaned.
anything like this exists.
I...
So basically, they burned it. They burned it, basically.
Yep.
There was a place almost 16 years ago now, and they would give off these, like, that we did buy a few pirated movies or burnt DVDs, and one of them was for the first Saw, Passion of the Christ, SpongeBob movie.
Why the hell would you want to pirate the SpongeBob movie, even
Why
if
would
they
you want
keep
to
putting
do
on
that?
reruns of it?
Hey, Heather.
This was in 2004. That was back before.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
I was still recording on VHSs. I got 4 or 6 boxes of them, of all the Nickelodeon
Heather.
shows I recorded, and Malcolm in the Middle,
Heather, where are you from?
North Carolina.
Okay.
You can hear it, can't you?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I already know, but yeah, he don't.
Well, I spent most of this year in the South, so it was the draw. I was wondering where in the South you were from.
Yeah, it's actually the western part of North Carolina, closer to the
So
mountains.
I was wondering if it was maybe because it wasn't quite Cajun, so I didn't think you were like closer into Texas or Oklahoma or Louisiana. But I
Oh,
wasn't
Louisiana's
quite
in its own
Mississippi.
category, in my opinion.
See,
Exactly,
I don't
and
know the difference.
Well, exactly, and that's why I was wondering because I was like, it's not quite. It could be Tennessee, but it's not quite
Close. If it's
Tennessee
if it's East Tennessee, we kind of
Yeah,
sound alike.
See, it's not quite Tennessee.
The western part of Tennessee is different.
It's also not Virginia though. Like Virginia is like southern, but like hoity-toity southern.
That's the
They sound-
Tidewater.
I'm like, yeah.
Aristocratic. sounding. Is what
They
it is.
sound like if posh English people inbred more.
There's a theory that was actually what the English originally spoke, or how they spoke, or at least maybe the high class ones did. Maybe.
Howdy.
Well, the
It's
southern
gross.
accent is actually derived from UK accents. So it's from the early settlers. It's just that people in different areas accents change differently. So for some reason.
Which is why, like, areas like Louisiana have a different dialect altogether
And they got
from
a
other
Ca-
southern areas.
They got a French Canadian basis there.
That's
And
why.
instead of counties, it's parishes.
If you listen to some people's accents in like Georgia in that area, sometimes it almost sounds British, like with some of their inflections.
You know what? President Jimmy Carter, former President Jimmy Carter, the way he talks, it's quite different from us. Slightly. It sounds...
I feel like that's just being a senator. That's from his time in office. I mean, listen to George W. Bush. If you listen to his, like, really
Oh,
early
boy.
career stuff...
I
he
used to
sounds
be a
totally
Bush
different than
leaguer,
when he
but
was
not
the president.
anymore. Yeah, screw George Bush. I used to be a Bush leaguer, not anymore.
We'd still take him over Trump.
I don't
I mean, I don't
at
know.
this point.
That's not saying much, to be clear.
No, it's not. Someone who we kind of
I
assumed
think I
lied
would
to us
take a
versus
hamster
someone we
over
know is
Trump.
lying to us.
Yeah. Then again, I'm
It-
independent, so
No,
I
not
don't
anymore.
know.
He used to be the president.
No.
Why?
Interventionist. We should have went to Iraq. That was my grandma.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi.
I think the war on terror is like the war on drugs. You can't fight something that doesn't actually exist. Like you're making a big deal out of something because you want to make a big deal out of something.
No, the war on drug only exists because of racism.
Well, yeah,
Actually, it's much
you're-
more than that. It's actually
building
the
a point
CIA
against
wanting to
something.
create conflict, divide and conquer.
Sort of.
The CIA was behind that. Actually, there's a whole
You're-
another thing. Iran Contra.
You're both right. You're both right. In different ways. So here's what it is. The U.S. government was selling drugs to the populace, primarily to the inner cities and the African American populace, so they
Right.
could police them.
Okay, yeah,
But the
that
reason
part,
why
yeah,
they were
that is.
buying drugs from other places was to basically establish a way to police the entire planet. Oh, you've got heroin? Guess what? We're going to come in and police it. We're going to come in and you, and then we're going to take over your business and skim off the top, and we're going to be in charge of it, and that's how we're going to make that money.
And the thing
And
about
so
that,
it's this
hard
weird
drugs,
thing where
especially
it's-
heroin, they've had
we sell
it's-
heroin.
wars.
Our government
Wars
sells
have been
shitloads.
done over it.
Why do you think we're still in Afghanistan?
Yes, actually,
we're
I
in
found a book
Afghanistan?
like.
We're there
Yeah,
for poppy fields.
I
We're there
know.
for heroin.
We-
We're not there for oil. They don't have any.
A lot, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've read, most or many troops want us to leave to get out of there, and we should.
Because they're literally guarding poppy fields.
Well, that and we've caused enough trouble there, and they don't want us there. We have no
No.
business being there.
We do have business being there. Taking over those poppy fields so we can sell heroin
I mean,
to our fucking
I'm
people.
saying as a morality thing, but
Oh,
now
no. Morality is thrown out the window when you talk about the United States government. That has not existed
In the
in
military
the US government since...
the military-industrial
Eisenhower.
complex,
Yeah, so...
Eisenhower
everything
warned about it.
post-Eisenhower.
Actually,
Eisenhower
if you
warned
think of
us.
Yes, he did, and I think a lot of this problems started following the Second World War, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And something
Which
else
is
was
when
happening.
Eisenhower became president and warned us that we were getting ready for a military economy.
But before that, what happened during Truman's administration in the Middle East?
A whole lot of bullshit.
Israel became a country.
Yeah, that wasn't his doing, though. That was England.
There's a whole nother theory to that.
No, England basically took that over because they were creating trade routes for oil. And they needed to give it to someone who they could trust. And they were like, hey, we just kicked this asshole Hitler guy's ass and we have a bunch of displaced fucking Jewish refugees. Where the fuck are we going to put them? Oh, Israel seems nice. They
There's
want it
actually-
anyways. It's their
there's
holy
actually a
land.
Actually, kind of makes sense, given the drug ring amongst the Hasidic Jews here in this part
Yeah.
of the country.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, because of... There's actually a whole new thing that is not known. Like, in Germany, you cannot discuss Hitler or anything like that, it seems.
Oh, you can.
Well,
It's just-
it's limited.
They understand it's part of their history, but it's
Mhm.
something that they view as something that they are ashamed of. Which they
Well, the
should.
thing is, they shouldn't be ashamed of it anymore because they shouldn't hold that generational burden because it's
I
gone
don't
now.
know. If I was from Virginia, I'd be ashamed of Robert E. Lee.
Well,
We have
does that mean
plenty
I
to
should be ashamed of
here.
Andrew Jackson? I mean,
Yeah, kind of, considering
like,
that
why
his
would
band
they?
fucking raped, murdered, and burned cities to the ground.
Why would they dwell on it? America doesn't fucking teach its shameful past in school. So why would
well,
you?
there's a
expect
lot
other
about the
countries to do
South
that?
side of the story that ain't spoken about, and there's a lot of misinfo.
Absolutely.
We don't really examine everything.
Nope.
And the whole thing
And-
about the South was racist. Actually, most people that lived in the South did not really own slaves. It was a bunch of rich people that did that. My ancestors
It
didn't
was
own
the-
any.
It was
They
the rich
tilled the land for
liberals,
themselves.
The rich liberals of the South that were actually the ones that were slave owners. And
But
for the
the
most part,
the parties switched platforms later on.
correct. Only to sort of backtrack after Reagan.
It's actually,
When you get
well,
when you get to Reagan's administration and you talk about Reaganomics and his trickle down economics and how he designed this what has now turned into our prison industrial system, where prison is a for-profit system.
Andrew Napolitano has spoken about that.
That's when you get into this weird pseudo-slavery, which is really the cornerstone of the economics of our entire country.
And regarding war, why do they always send the poor?
Jesus.
Yes, that's a System of a Down song.
Yeah.
Why? It's so fun.
Here's
They're
another
awesome.
one. Here's another one by System of a
Yeah,
Down.
but no, I almost forgot
Yes.
their albums.
Is it their latest one?
All research and successful drug policy shows that treatment should be increased. If law enforcement was decreased while abolishing mandatory minimum sentencing.
It angers me that there are people that are like, you only had like a few certain ounces of marijuana, and yet you go for like 25 and stuff.
Okay,
but
to
yeah,
be
a
fair,
red.
you have ounces. Let me show you an ounce. Give me a fucking second.
Well, it's the sex
It's
offenders.
like-
they get
it's like-
off.
it's like a
They get
teaspoon,
off
like
free
less
on
than a
that.
teaspoon, isn't it?
An ounce is a lot more than you think. Like, in Texas, I could have gone to jail for anything over 0.02 grams. That's dust, by the way.
That and
Whereas an
portions around
ounce-
here, you have shake and bake factories too.
An ounce is substantial.
Oh no, that's the harder stuff.
No, that's weed.
But yeah, but yeah,
If you
people
have
for
crack,
menial crimes.
Look at my bald spot. That's where his tube was.
Oh, we have a
Happy
tuxedo
he's doing
cat.
better.
He's got a big head. Our cat, not yours.
Gatsby's a big old boy. He's got a big everything. He's normal weight now, but he's just like big in stature.
We have a cat he's tall, but he makes himself
Gatsby's tall,
look
too.
smaller because he slinks.
Well, he's got a wide head, like it's a muscular head, and the rest of him is, like, he's heavy when you pick him up, but then again, it might be because he's a male, but he's pretty. And we have a husky.
Oh man.
Yep. Storm
Yeah,
is his
how do you
name.
manage the fur, man. I've seen people brush huskies.
Yes.
You could build
It's
a
bad.
whole other dog.
Yep,
That's
the
not
fur
even a
is
joke.
No, it's not.
Gabby always shows me the fluff after she does like a Malamute or a fucking like husky, and yeah, it is like a whole other goddamn dog.
You could just like stuff fucking pillows with it and just
That might not be a bad idea. Gabby,
husky fur pillows.
could you
Waste
turn
not, want not.
husky fur into twine? You could probably spindle it into like.
Yes, there is a woman that has done that with her cat's fur.
Yeah, she does it with her
Yeah,
Persian.
she makes art with
I'm
them.
wondering if you can do that with a Malamute or a husky.
I actually saw a book a long time ago at Barnes & Noble of like how to craft with your cat's fur, and I thought it was the weirdest thing, but now I'm like, no, people actually make some pretty cool stuff.
I learned a term the other day that I absolutely love. And I'm going to use it at the next opportunity I get. You ever heard of the term hair shirt?
Hair what?
I think I
Hair
have
shirt.
heard that.
Unless you mean the damn eyelash shirt thing from
No.
SpongeBob.
Gross. But basically what it is, back in the 30s, people used to braid and like twine their hair
Yes.
into shirts that were
Oh.
very uncomfortable, but they were shirts, and they would look like normal shirts that you would wear. But
They were on
very
hard
uncomfortable.
times.
And so the term hair shirt means, if you call someone that, it's basically saying, oh, you go out of your way to make yourself uncomfortable. You're
Hey, it
going
could
out
be
of your way
worse.
to piss me off. You're going out of your way to annoy me to piss you off. Kind of thing. So, like, I'm waiting for a term. Like, I have it, and I know Kristen knows who I have it lined up for. And I'm just waiting. I'm really just waiting. Because I'm done. You don't
No,
piss
wait.
me off.
This shirt
More
made
than
of
twice.
tears.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh.
I'm just waiting for drama to start. It's
made
just a ticking
tears.
time bomb. And I know it's just a ticking time bomb. It's just a matter of time.
Look at that fat head.
Aww.
Well, not fat, it's muscular.
Little
He's a
shovel.
boo-boo.
Yeah, and that's the Last Supper portrait.
Casey.
I mean,
There
I've
we
got a
go.
Da Vinci behind me.
Oh.
Right there.
My makeshift CD stand.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Da Vinci's Portrait of a Woman. Someone got it for me for my birthday a few years back.
And we've had rabbits. We got some newborns.
They're cute, but I could never own a rabbit.
I just got
I
this
had one when
random
I
ass
was in high
painting.
school.
See, I'm really trying my best to, like, not confirm with Gabby how much I want her to get the chinchilla at her work. Because I want her to get the chinchilla.
Now, what
Yeah,
do
you
chinchillas
gotta get
actually
two.
look
You
like?
can't get one. You gotta get two.
Chinchillas are the shit.
Um,
Chinchillas are the coolest fucking animals you can have as a
If
pet.
you get a chinchilla, don't just get one. You gotta get it a friend. Otherwise, they get.
We used to
really
have
lonely.
3.
Yeah.
We had 2, and then they had a baby, and then the mom died,
oh,
and then the dad and the son had to be separated because the son was like, "I'm gonna fuck my dad," and dad
they
didn't
will
like that.
fight. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what happened.
And I feel like
So they
kicking
were
my dad's
separated.
ass all day today.
And then they were getting along, and then dad died,
Oh,
And then Son was hanging out with us for a long time. He was just cool with it. He was cool being by himself. He had stuffed animals he could hunt. He was in a good mood. He's always cool. He would
That's
yell at
just
me
how
if
they
his
do.
dinner was behind schedule, or if if he woke up and his fucking cage wasn't clean yet. He'd yell at me.
Just
He'd
feel
be
like,
"Where's
I
Mom?"
want my freaking dinner!
That's what my guinea pig would do. I had a guinea for a while, and I did not know
Well-
before adopting him that guinea pigs make noise. Because at
Yeah.
the store, they don't. They don't make any noise.
Oh, they do make
And
noise.
so I'm like, wait, 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 wait. I'm like,
They-
"Boy,
they
I-
One,
squeal.
my teacher had 2 of them, and one of them
Chinchillas
bothered
bark.
the other.
Chinchillas go.
That's not as annoying as the guinea pig noise.
I mean, it is.
Every freaking morning.
Well, I mean,
I heard
you
that
know
in
what
one
guinea pigs are
classroom.
used for in like South America, right?
What?
They eat
There's
them,
a,
yes.
there's
Yeah,
a
they
meal
eat 'em.
called cuy.
Yeah, I've seen videos of people like roasting them on a spit.
It's so good. Don't knock it till you try it. It tastes like pork.
I mean,
How
No.
would you know that?
Because
Oh,
there's a
wait.
restaurant here in Minneapolis that serves it. Well, at least it used to be
I mean,
there.
I'm not
They
going
fucking
to.
closed.
but I'm not
Okay, I
gonna knock
wouldn't
it
believe.
either.
I wouldn't disbelieve you on that.
It's really good. They also serve it at our state fair.
Get your guinea pig on a stick.
They also serve gator. They serve
Uh,
gator.
That I'm not surprised.
They
It
serve-
tasted.
It's
To me,
so
it tasted
good.
like pork.
What?
Like-
gator?
Like
Yeah, it
pork
tasted like
fried
pork.
chicken.
That's what I've heard.
Oh,
Like
we
pork
had
fried
a
chicken.
place that served fried gator, but they closed.
Oh,
Super
what
good.
happened?
I don't know, but me, my mom, and my grandparents were their last customers.
Oh no.
And
Well,
their,
there are some in South Carolina because they have them.
their grilled cheese tastes like a damn rock. Yeah.
Well, they overcooked it then.
How do you fuck up grilled cheese?
I don't know. I
How?
was just like, can I please go to McDonald's or frickin' run down the street to the gas station
That's
or
just
CVS
disgraceful. How- you
or
can't-
anywhere?
Bro, you need
if you
some
literally
Kraft.
Okay, I bought a bag of Kraft cheese. The stuff is, well, the shredded one was just.
Bro, I'll pick you up some Velveeta. We'll just name how many.
Oh, actually, what if they used wick cheese?
I don't remember what they used.
What the fuck is wick cheese?
Okay, it's the
Government
kind of
cheese?
cheese that is. It's what they give to WIC customers. WIC is sort of like a food assistance that some people rely on. That's what we
Yeah.
use here, and
It's for moms.
it's usually mothers or women about to expect, and if they're under a certain percentage of payment, something like that.
women, infant, and children.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's considered a form of welfare. It's under the welfare department at least, and like food stamps is how it's regulated. And then it's specifically for mothers who are expecting or mothers who have already given birth, who need
Oh,
help.
I never heard of
with-
that.
I know because I work at a Food Lion and I've come across customers that thankfully they use a card now. It makes it easier.
We had a card that we had to use that was specifically like charged for a specific type of formula that our daughter needed. But it was just because my daughter like wouldn't put on weight because she's like her fucking dad and she has a fucking high ass metabolism, and so she needed like the
So did me and my
shit
mom.
for like 9 months. She needed the extra fatty, extra chunky, extra blah blah blah. Otherwise, she just wasn't gaining the weight. Like she was just, and she's still tiny, to my knowledge.
Like, how much did she weigh when she was born?
4 pounds 4 ounces.
Whoa.
My half
That's a
sister,
tiny.
my half sister was born 7 pounds even.
That was 8 pounds 8 ounces. I was also a month and a half premature.
That's actually kind of good though.
Yeah, I was big as fuck for a preemie, so like they don't think I was premature. Which is also why
I
I'm,
was
like,
born
not
on
100%
time,
certain on
and so was
math.
my half sister. I was 6 ounces, 6 pounds 9 ounces, I think. Now I will say, yes, Food Lines does still exist, creepy troll. It's better than Walmart, in my opinion. Just the service.
That's not saying much. Everything's better than Walmart when it comes to service.
Well, the thing is, Walmart is just
Walmart's
like a
mass
decade
production.
ago. A decade ago,
Walmart's
it
mass
was
production where you
okay.
maybe get a smile.
The only decent thing is some of the cheap stuff, but even then, it's just. I
Yeah,
feel bad
it's
for the
mass
people that
production.
work there. I feel bad for the people that work there. Any managers that treat them crap, and that and the lowest common denominator of people that seem to congregate there and add to the negativity.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help Walmart that Walmart panders to a very specific demographic. And
Hey,
so
you can
because of
say
that
it. You can
pandering-
say it.
Well, they pandered to the lower income and the less.
Well, even years ago,
less
lower
affluent,
income people would
affluent.
dress better.
Oh, I believe it, absolutely. But also because of the fast turnaround in fashion, like clothing has been having a faster and faster turnaround, which is being designed to destroy itself. So you have to
Yes,
wear rattier
especially
and
when you
rattier
go on
clothing because the
flights.
clothes are designed to fall apart.
You're better
Everything's
off
being designed
buying
nowadays.
secondhand. You're better off buying secondhand clothes that are of better quality if they're older because, well, that's where the
They're not meant to fall apart.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you save money.
It's like I had a phrase. People are willing to pay what they perceive that they need,
Yes,
or what they perceive that they have to. That's what it was.
I
People
forgot.
will pay what they perceive that they have to.
There is a term for that, but I did forget it. But what we have is
Yeah, it's called
consumerism.
marketing.
Consumerism
It's
is the
called
big
business.
problem now. We used to not be consumerist until, I don't know, maybe 70s, 80s? I think that's
About
when the
the
mall
80s, during
stuff
the big-
started.
That would have been the big like booms.
Yeah, and then,
80s,
well, I
early
think what
90s.
is really not helping is, and this is what a lot of people will agree with me on this, NAFTA. When a lot of our manufacturers went overseas.
Yeah. Here's why they went overseas, though. You know how much an
Cheap
iPhone
labor,
would cost
cheap
if it was
labor.
made in America? You have any idea how much an iPhone would cost if it was made here?
Well, I'm sure it would be, but after a time,
Tens
it
of
would.
thousands of dollars.
But after an amount of time, it would level out, wouldn't it?
No. Because of the way that our dollar has inflated. Because
Well-
of our labor laws.
All you need to do is travel to figure that out.
Yeah,
I mean, anytime you have
like-
to convert your money to another kind of money.
The best example I can offer up, and it's like really the only thing I bring up when it comes to like labor law things in my politics is like we shouldn't have a minimum wage. Kristen,
know what,
would
I
you work
think
for
you-
$1 an hour?
What?
Would you work for $1 an hour?
No.
Morgan, would you work for $1 an hour?
Hell no.
Heather? Is your time worth more than $1 an hour?
It depends on the work.
Okay, let's say you're working at a movie theater at the box office. Is your time worth $1 an hour? Dealing with complaints, dealing with loud children that are screaming over the fucking adults so you can't hear the adults as they're trying to order the tickets, dealing with complaints, dealing with the management, dealing with the other people who are working because they have to fucking do their work in the concessions. Signing in, checking people's temperatures, making sure people are wearing their masks, making sure to sell masks to people that aren't wearing them. Is that worth $1 an hour to you?
No.
No? Is it worth $5 an hour to you?
Close.
Is it worth $10 an hour to you?
I'm not gonna lie. $9
Getting
sounds
closer.
I'd say that's much better.
I get paid $10 an hour
Wait.
to sit in the concession stand
The way I see it is,
and do nothing.
it's not so much a matter of the specific service, it's a matter of the fact that you're spending all of your time performing a service that people aren't willing to do. And if, like,
Correct.
it's different than if you're just doing it one time for somebody. You're spending, like anywhere
Well,
from
labor's
5, 8 to 10
the
hours a
commodity.
day doing it. That means they have to pay you enough money to live because you're giving all of your time to it. It doesn't matter what the service is.
But they don't have to with minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not competitive. They're not competing with anyone. All their competitors pay the same. Minimum.
I was just talking to somebody about this earlier. He was like, they were talking about the $15 an hour minimum thing. They're like,
Oh,
so
the
you want-
It's only going
universal.
to destroy the economy.
They were saying like,
It's
oh,
only
do you
gonna
want
damage
me
it.
to pay somebody who works behind the counter at the supermarket $15 an hour? And I'm like, you're focusing on the wrong thing here, dude. It's not about what they're doing.
It's about the livable wage.
Well, what's your alternative?
Which... Alternative is an actual... Like, these are forced to pay their employees.
You cut out there.
Yeah, you are.
The government's
Wow,
cutting you off.
Uh-oh.
Hello,
Rick.
Josh.
Government interception.
Okay, am I back?
No, not yet. You still
Not really.
loading screen.
Black
We're
helicopter.
looking at
Did
your
you knock
headshot.
off your Wi-Fi again?
Oh, YouNow needs to get their crap straight.
Hi, Jacobley's headshot.
You're...
Ah.
I was just sitting there smoldering at us.
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you're back.
Yeah.
So, the problem with the minimum wage is... Is it working?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the problem with minimum wage is that employers don't have to be competitive in the way that they pay their employees.
Mm.
Which means employees are the ones getting shafted, not having that competitive pay. If your employer is paying you $5 an hour to perform a task at a restaurant, but the restaurant down the street is paying $7 an hour for the same job, but less hours, you're more likely to go to the one that pays more but has less hours. You can make more in a shorter amount of time, or if you end up working the full amount of hours, you're making more in the long run altogether.
But
And it
you
doesn't
can
sound
pay,
like a
you
lot.
can pay more than the minimum wage.
You can. I'm
Well,
just
there
using
is a
this as an
slight
example.
raise. Slightly.
Very few companies are willing to pay, and like this goes even double for like retail, especially the way they
Walmart
treat
is one of those
managers.
people. They barely pay more.
They barely pay more.
Now,
Barely.
thankfully,
Just
at Food
by
Line,
the
they
skin.
did it slightly.
When it comes to chain companies, yeah, they tend to do that. They tend to
They
stick to the
tend to.
minimum wage because the CEOs at the top want to collect. They want to scrape up as much cream from the top of the
Greed.
as they can. Which is why not only do they not pay much above minimum wage, they hire as few people as possible. So that's why these places are always understaffed. There's always long lines because they don't have enough people working.
And not only that,
They
but
tell their
Walmart-
managers, if you can hire as few people as possible, you'll get a bigger bonus.
not only that, but Walmart also, they are disorganized. From what I've heard.
Oh my God, Dire Messiah, I love you.
Everywhere is like Walmart, CVS.
Oh, Food Line
Target.
is better, but by far, at least the one I work at.
Which
You
one?
don't hear anything bad about Food Line like you do with Walmart. I mean,
I
I don't think it really matters what
basically got
company it
Walmart and
is.
Target.
As long as
And
as
Costco.
companies have to pay a minimum wage, you as the actual employer are going to suffer. If the minimum wage gets jumped to 15, the inflation on the dollar is going to probably destroy the value of
and
our
that's
dollar.
what the argument I have heard several times about that. And I thought, well,
But
what about doing
it
away
will
with it?
balance out for about 5 years. Everything will balance out and even out. People will be able to build a nest egg for themselves, get things in order. But in
That seems
order
to be
for
hard
us
to do
continue
during this
further-
economy and everything going on and the lockdowns and what
in order
I
for that to continue further, restaurant industries have to join in on being a part of the minimum wage laws. They cannot be paying their employees the minimum scrape law that is allowed for tippable business. Honestly, this is super easy to work around. Charge more for your food.
Well, restaurants
You're providing a
and laws are
service.
a little different, at least here.
well, then there's the
because
tip
it-
issue.
Because you get tipped, so they can pay you less.
Oh boy,
than
this is
minimum wage.
Reservoir Dogs again.
Here's the thing. There are plenty of businesses that exist, plenty of restaurants that do not allow tipping in their facility because their employees receive a fair wage.
Some places do that.
It's
They don't do
not-
it in Germany.
Not very many.
Oh, they do
but
it-
I have-
they
I-
do it
I have
everywhere in the
people
world
in-
except for
in my area
America.
that do that. But here,
Well, then again, Germany is blue. No, Denmark actually is like the gold standard as far as their well-being and their standard of life, and they get more in return for the taxes they pay in.
Well,
From
they
what
get
I've
more in
heard.
return for the taxes they pay, but they're paying 68% of their yearly income to taxes. The United States is about 32.
Well, the thing is, and people say that Denmark is very socialist. Actually, it's one of the most free capitalist countries you can go to.
It's free market. It is socialist.
Free market, yeah.
But it's free market. That's not free capitalist.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
You can't just open a business. In the United States, you can pretty much just open a business. You get the right to do it with a license, you can do it. And a license costs about $500. That's it. I can start a business tomorrow selling farts in a can. In Denmark, it's a 10-year process.
I'd buy it.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, what about, so
Socialism
regulations
is
are
goofy.
heavier?
Socialism is the government basically owns everything. And allows you to have it too. On their
Well, the thing is, when people talk
Allowance.
about like capitalism is, basically, if you hear it from,
capitalism's a fucking train wreck.
well,
Capitalism
because
does
it's
not work.
when it's unbridled and it's corporate, that's when it's the
It
problem.
suffocates.
That's why when you hear from people like Sean Hannity, he just sounds like a boomer. No offense, but he does.
He is. That's his entire market. His entire market is
Yeah,
boomers.
because I'd rather listen to Tucker Carlson because he brings on more interesting
Tucker
people that
Carlson's
you can.
the same thing.
Although he's slightly more paleo-conservative, he's not.
See, you're talking to a libertarian. Okay? I don't
Well,
even believe
I'm
in the
kind
speed
of-
limit.
I kind
I don't
of
believe
am.
in car insurance. I think that's a scam. Forcing us to have health insurance, suck my dick.
Do you ever read Mises Institute?
Mises? No, but I read a lot of Ayn Rand.
Have you heard of Andrew? Okay. Have you heard of Andrew Napolitano?
Yes.
Awesome. I would have wanted him to be on the Supreme Court, but he's 70, so that wouldn't be well long term.
I really want someone to bring back Franz Kafka from the grave and put him in charge of, like, some segment
Oh,
of
man.
our Senate. Are you kidding
What
me? It'd
would
be
he
hilarious.
do?
He'd be like, you have to file 75 papers, wait 10 years, go to prison, get out, come out, go in, go back, get hung, come back to life, come back around, and then you can finally file that law.
Well, Kafka.
That's Kafka.
The only Kafka-esque stuff that I've seen is in that episode of The Twilight Zone where there are these.
You want something Kafka-esque, go to the DMV. Jesus Christ, what? Wait in line to pay wait in line to fight a traffic ticket. And tell me that's not, like, the definition of goddamn Kafka-esque, okay? The bureaucracy
I
in our
hated being
government
in
is
there.
disgusting.
Also, somebody described it as hell in Urban Dictionary. That
No?
next to, it's a yellow bus that takes me to school, takes me there every Monday through Friday.
The DMV?
No, school. That's what their description of hell is on Urban Dictionary, which I get. Public
the
schools
problem
are...
with our school system is it's just a byproduct of, like, bad government ordinance. Right? It's
And to
about
some
test
degree
scores.
parenting, but I think that and teachers'
Well,
unions are a whole other thing.
The problem boils down to No Child Left Behind. That was the start
Yes,
of
I
it.
agree. I agree, and
That's
I'm on the
just the death.
spectrum. Although I did
Like,
well, but
I've talked
all
to,
it is
I've
is
talked to
drill
teachers about it, and
tests.
they're like, No Child Left
ADHD.
Behind is a joke. It's just killing our fucking society.
well, it's almost like it's almost like
You know
drill
what it is?
tests.
It's profiling. They get test scores, and then they decide who goes where based on your test scores. And if you have low test scores, they expect you to be a criminal, because there's no other way you'll be able to support yourself.
That and remember when all you needed was just a high school diploma and maybe
No.
just some on the work training, and you were okay?
Nope.
Seems
My
a bit.
entire
not-
working
that's not-
career
that's
since
not really
I
our
was 16,
generation.
you could have gotten by with a GED. I know more people who don't have their degrees who are more successful than me.
Do they own small
I know
businesses?
people who
Oh,
have
yeah.
never graduated,
Because
never gotten their
trades are
GED,
where
and
it's
they
at
make
now.
more money than I could ever imagine.
People who work in a trade business, oh my god, they do so well. Especially union jobs.
Like electricians, plumbers.
Yes, they do well. Our neighbor does.
Construction.
Thing
See?
is, there's a little more.
Look what Dire Messiah said. Tips are a bonus here in Australia, not a wage. Because
Oh.
they have laws that protect their fucking restaurant workers. Tips are a bonus. You did good. Here's a tip. In the United States, tips were considered a form of bribery until the Great Depression.
It actually
That does make
goes
sense.
back way further than that.
It does.
Every-
I'm just giving the most recent
everybody
point
goes
of
back
why
to the Great
tipping has
Depression,
been
but it really
allowed.
goes back to the French. It goes back to the French Revolution when
the
everybody
chefs
had to release
of the
their
great
servants.
royal courts had to open restaurants to feed the poor.
And also because all the servants of the rich people had to be let go because all the rich people
They had
were
to find
getting,
work.
like, killed or completely destroyed, so they had nowhere to work. So they were opening the restaurants, and all the servants were going to work there.
Yep.
And the few rich people that were still left, it was the same shit. They'd be like, "Hey, pay attention to me. Here, I have more money." Because
That's
they
the whole
couldn't pay them.
concept of a restaurant. The whole concept of a restaurant was to eat like a king, even if you were a peasant.
And it's
Whole
they
concept.
still hold that to be true because they treat everybody like they're so fucking special,
But here in America, and you work in the restaurant industry, you definitely can agree with me on this. It's about the table turnaround. It's not about the table quality.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're working in a typical type of restaurant, then yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe you're not working in that kind of a restaurant, but
Well,
a
no,
normal
I am.
restaurant, it's about the
I'm
tip.
saying,
It's
like,
about the
unless-
table turnaround.
Unless you're talking about like the super expensive ones where like they don't really care because they know you're going to spend a lot of money anyway,
And they know your tip's going to be fat.
Right.
But at the same time, if you work in those places, your wage is usually fairly fat too.
Well, yeah, I get way more than the minimum wage. You know,
Down in Texas, Benihana was willing to pay me $15 an hour to be a bartender. Their minimum wage for a bartender was $5.
Whoa.
That's
Why?
after
They didn't
that's
expect
after
you to make as
several
many tips.
Raises, though. I mean, I've been working at this place for years, and when I started there, I got $8 an hour, and then as years went by, it went to 10, and then I almost quit, and they raised it to 13.
Uh-oh.
See, this is why I'm so happy I live in Minnesota and why I moved back here. In Minnesota, we
Not
actually
letting me down.
passed a law. It was like, I want to say it was like 5-ish years ago. It was right around the time that we upped our minimum wage to $10. Our minimum wage is actually $9.79, but everyone just ups it to 10. It's easier on the numbers. It's easier on the math.
Yes.
But if you work a tip job, they cannot pay you less than minimum, regardless of the tips that you make. Meaning they have to pay you minimum for your time that you're there. If you are in the restaurant industry, an hour. Minimum.
Well, $10 is the minimum here.
But a lot of states don't have laws that protect you when you are a tip trade.
Right.
So in Texas, their minimum is $7.75. But if you work in the service industry, it's $3.17. If you're a bartender, it's $5.
Well, technically, in retail, at least in retail, when I started, it was $7.25 or around that amount.
Well, every state has a different minimum.
I think that's what it is for North Carolina, though, on
Every
average.
state has a different minimum. Southern states tend to have a lower minimum than northern states.
Although
but
it is
the
cheaper.
cost of living in northern states is usually much more expensive.
Now gas sales tax is cheaper in South Carolina than North Carolina. That's why there are a lot of people.
It costs less to transport it. It's about transport.
Oh,
I live in
right.
Minnesota. It's a
Yeah,
bitch
that's
to
why a lot of people
transport
go down
buttloads
there
of
to the
oil.
border, to the state line to to pump gas because it's cheaper there.
Well, and
Because
you
we
also
live
have-
near the line.
You have coasts. You know, they can come in by dock.
Yeah, we
Like,
got the port
Kristen's
cities.
in Jersey. Jersey has a really high fucking oil tax because they have really high gas because it's a high commodity.
Well, also we don't do self-service.
That's also another weird whole thing on its own fucking right. They don't do self-service. When she told me that, I just about shit a brick. I was like, what?
No,
She's like, I'm waiting for the guy to pump my
work there and
gas.
do
I was
it
like,
for
what
you.
the fuck are you talking about?
I wouldn't know because I've only been to Washington, D.C., and that was back in 2008, so I've never been that far up north.
Jesus. I've been further
Connecticut
south
ain't
and
nothing
farther
to
north
look
than
at.
you've been in your whole life.
Oh,
just this
Boston
year.
seems interesting.
Boston definitely
Massachusetts
seems
is.
interesting.
Connecticut, we are boring as hell unless you're in Bloomfield at a house party.
See, I'm gonna skip Connecticut and probably just go straight to Delaware because they were.
Well,
the
I
first
mean, I
state
don't
in
mind
the
seeing the views of the countryside and everything because I live in the
Then go to
countryside.
Vermont. Then go to Vermont.
Yes, I've heard it. That and you don't hear a lot of bad things happen there either.
Go to Rhode Island. Oh, there's shitloads of fucked up shit going on in Vermont. Like, fucking everyone's strung out on heroin, fucking breaking into cars, fucking robbing motherfuckers on the side of the street.
Okay, what about
Motherfucking,
New
there was just
Hampshire?
like a series of serial killings in Vermont of some guy that was like pretending to be a hitchhiker.
New Hampshire's
What the
not
fuck?
much different.
Jersey's probably not much different.
No, I
the
said
only
New
difference is
Hampshire's
that
not
the
much
mob is
different,
probably
you
behind
ass.
it.
Well, not the Italian mob or a different mob.
Well, the Italian mob definitely has a high presence all throughout New Jersey and
New Jersey,
throughout New York.
Long Island, New York.
Big presence in like New York and a big presence in Jersey.
You ever
High
know,
concentration of Italians.
I guess you wouldn't have, but if you were ever here, you would notice that New Jersey has a shitload of carnivals going on all
the
fucking
time.
year. Jersey Shore boardwalks, All of it, mob owned.
Oh, Kristen, when I go out to Jersey, we're going to Atlantic City.
Okay.
That.
I've actually never really been. I went once when I was a very little kid, and I don't remember. But I don't usually go down to Atlantic City. I usually go down to Wildwood, which is
Well, I want to
near
go to Atlantic City and get their like boardwalk fudge. The boardwalk fudge from
Wildwood
Atlantic City
definitely
is fire.
like has the best boardwalk in Jersey.
I also want to go to Camden, but I know I'm gonna have to make that trip alone
Why?
because there's no police. It's so cool.
Why would you want to go there?
Because I want to
It's
see
not
what
just-
Minneapolis is gonna be
It's
like.
not just the worst city in the state. It's one of the worst cities in the country.
Yeah,
No.
He
We're not
still
going.
wants to go there
you're not
nonetheless.
scaring me away from it. I'm gonna laugh when
We're
I walk
not
down the
going.
street and I like get mugged and then make friends with the homeboy and like start smoking a blunt with him. Because that has happened to me here in Minneapolis. Where a dude comes out and he's like, yo, and he's like trying to like be intimidating. I'm like, what's up?
What? Why are you so hyper?
I had a
Yeah,
dude pull a
let's just
gun
say
on me.
I chicken out in 2 minutes.
I had a dude pull a gun on me once when I was in North
What?
Minneapolis. And I fucking grabbed it and I was like, make the move, boy. I ain't got nothing on me. You gonna check my pockets, you're gonna find shit. Wanna take that risk? And he put it away and like walked away.
Gatsby. Stop attacking my phone charger.
I mean, I've been stabbed before too. Like, I've got scars to prove it. I got stabbed in the leg with a steak knife by an ex-girlfriend once.
I have not been stabbed, knock on wood, and I'd like to keep it that way, which is why we're not going to Camden.
Well, like I said, I'd probably have to make that trip alone. No, I really want to go looking for the Jersey Devil. If I'm going to Jersey, that's one of the things I want to do.
Paranormal trips, I will join you for. That shit I'm down on. Gatsby, Jesus fucking
I think it'd be
Christ, why
cool
are you
as
so
shit.
hyper?
The Jersey Devil's always interested me. Like, I'm also a fan of the New Jersey hockey team. So
There's also a haunted highway here that
yeah, there is.
you drive
I
down
really
and
wanna
you're
go
supposed
on
to
it.
like kind of like go crazy or something or have hallucinations, but it's kind of hard to tell whether you're seeing ghosts or just hobos.
You want to make a trip to Onion Town?
Onion Town?
Onion Town, New York.
You've lost me there. I don't know what that is.
Scary. It's literally one of the places that the creators of The Hills Have Eyes used as inspiration. It's a real town in New York, full of inbred hillbilly psychos.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, like there's a video online of the locals chasing some people out in like a truck, throwing rocks and bottles and like cans and shit at their car. I'm like, let's go.
Malkovich, think fast.
But I mean, like, I'm totally the type of person that like, this is the most dangerous snake on the planet. I'm
I'm
play
gonna
with
touch
his
it.
balls. See this snake? If it bites me, it can kill 10 men.
I'm gonna French kiss it.
I'm gonna make it into a belt. Yeah. No,
What about you? Want to be the fucking Steve Irwin of New Jersey?
I feel like that's probably a thing that already exists. And
I
it's
don't
probably
know.
on YouTube. And it's
Maybe.
probably really, like, super sarcastic. This is the wild New Jersey raccoon.
We do have those.
Notice its bald spots from the toxic waste dumps.
Nah, you just gotta go to fucking Newark or, like you said, Camden or any of those towns or South Orange. What are the oranges?
Who's doing laundry? You should probably take your shoe out of the dryer.
Yeah, that's Heather
I wasn't
Crowley.
expecting her to actually be doing laundry.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah, this is why I'm in a tiny as hell corner where you can barely hear anyone. Except my TV.
I mean, I'm in a little nook.
Nope.
Yeah, it's the nook that says knee. Oh, man.
In my designated couch corner.
Gabby told me one of her lines that she uses at work. Go away or I shall taunt you a second time. Let's see.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
That joke's so funny on levels.
I was obsessed with Monty Python in high school.
I kind of am. Well, I still am.
It's the Ministry of Silly Walks.
Attack of the Killer Sheep.
The Pirate Accountants.
We actually watched Monty Python's Meaning of Life in my humanities class in high school. You ever watch that?
Yep.
You watched it in school?
Yeah, we're sitting in a class and TV's going, every sperm is sacred, every sperm is good.
Well, why do they have so many kids? Because they're Catholic and they can't use a prophylactic.
What's a prophylactic?
Well, that's what we get to use because we're Protestant.
What
What's that mean? That means we don't adhere to the word of the Pope.
Well, let's go get some.
Yeah, just be glad you didn't watch High School DxD in your class.
I watched High School of the Dead in high school.
Dude, that's one of the
But it
next
was
ones I'm watching.
We were
It was
studying
on, like, a
satire.
computer.
I think that's why we were watching that.
I mean, that is definitely the, 101 crash course on satire.
If anybody masters satire, it's the English. You'll never find a more sarcastic nation. Not even us.
Yeah, no.
Well, I mean, more sarcastic, but they're more intelligent about it. As far as their humor goes. Uh-huh.
Okay, let me give you an example. It is better to keep your mouth shut and let people assume you are a fool than to open your mouth and remove any shadow of a doubt. Mark Twain.
What? Okay. I'm not saying
Satire.
America doesn't have it. I'm saying that as a nation, it's like embedded in their systems.
Yeah. Very dry. Satire is typically dry, so that, yeah. They don't really hold anything too reverent there.